ที่สามารถแอดคนได้เข้าไปที่ทั้งหมดกดแล้วกดดูว่าสามารถรับได้ไหม
ยังกดนะลากสั้นเราชี้ไปที่ไหนได้
ทันมินนี่นักการเนี่ยมี5 คน
ตอนนี้เขารออะไรครับ
แต่ว่าที่มันจะคิดเรา
ใส่ฟังแล้วฟังเสียง
เดี๋ยวเราหูฟังเขาต้องเชิญ
นี่ด้านขวา
อะไรกำลังต้องเชื่อม
เห็นปะ
ได้ยินเข้า
แต่ข้างเดียวไม่ได้
แล้วต้องเชิญทีละคนหรือว่าพร้อมกันมันจะเป็นคิวเหรอ
ไม่ใช่คิวอันนี้คือเป็นคนรออย่างเดียวเราก็ต้อง
เราจะรับเขากี่โมง9 โมงตรง
เชิญทีละคนแต่ถ้าเยอะมากจริงๆแบบมันพุ่งเข้ามาแบบ
แอดมิดออก
เชื่อมันจะไม่ต้องเชิญทีละคนหรอกเพราะบางคนมันก็เห็นไหมชื่อมันซ้ำอ่ะเห็นปะ
แล้วเราจะรู้ได้ยังไงว่าจะเอาคนไหนเราจะเอาแอดไหน
คนรอถ้ามันเราก็ต้องถ้ามันฉุกเฉินก็เชิญทุกคนตรงนี้เลยแต่ถ้าเยอะมากจริงๆแบบมันให้แบบ
แอดมิดออก
เชื่อมันจะไม่ต้องเชิญทีละคน
ไมค์ใครเปิดอ่ะ
เห็นไหมชื่อมันซ้ำอ่ะมีเสียงไมค์หรอ
ใช่เสียงเราพูดอ๋อไมค์เรา
ถ้ามันฉุกเฉินก็เชิญทุกคนตรงนี้เลย
ไมค์ใครเปิดอ่ะ
มีเสียงไมค์หรอ
ใช่เสียงเราพูดอ๋อไมค์เรา
เราจะเริ่มทักทายtest Good morning everyone สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, both on site with us at Khon University and online from all over the world. On behalf of the organizer and the host, we would like to extend our warmest welcome to all of you to the 7th International Conference of the International Library and Information Science Society, or I-LISS 2023, hybrid mode, and hosted by the Department of Information Science, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Khon University, Thailand, held on 20 to 21st July 2023. My name is Phai Kuntida Muntri Kaen. I'm a former student of the MA English program from Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Khon University.
And my name Thiladet Manakul. I'm an alumni of the PhD in Information Study program, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Khon University. Presently, I'm now a lecturer at the Department of Information Study at the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Burapha University, Chonburi Province, Thailand. It is an honor and a privilege to invite as the MC with Miss Kuntida in this ceremony today.
Thank you so much. So before we proceed to the official opening ceremony, may we take this opportunity to briefly introduce you to our conference today. So I-LISS is one of the international non-profit organizations representing the interests of library and information service professionals and library users. The conference provides a platform to all stakeholders in the future of libraries and information professionals, with the objective to promote innovation, augmentation, and utilization of ICT technologies to provide the right information to the right user at the right time in the right way after COVID-19 pandemic.
That's right, Nong Phai. It is a sunshine day early morning in our conference. It is an honor to have the Associate Professor Dr. Maitri Intraprasit, Vice President for Education and Academic Services, Khon University, to give his welcome address and remarkable opening speech. But before that, we have the Professor Dr. Donggun Oh, President of I-LISS, to give his welcoming remarks and introduction to the I-LISS. We also have the Professor Dr. Kuntida Tuamsuk, Chair of the I-LISS 2023 Conference. She will be to give her welcome remarks and introduction to I-LISS 2023 Conference and reporting address.
That's right. And after the opening ceremony, the topic entitled Information and Library Science Education for the Next Generation Professionals and Researchers will be presented by our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Gobinda Chaudhry from University of Strathclyde, United Kingdom.
And before move on to the relaxed part, after the coffee break, three special presentation will begin. And after lunch, paper presentation parallel session will begin at 1 p.m. and 3 different rooms with more than 20 papers.
That's right. And let us inform you the venues for the conference this year. So in this conference room is called the GS Conference Room. That is for opening ceremony today. And the restrooms are located outside the building. And the left-hand side is for gentlemen and the right-hand side, that's for ladies. And the fire exits are located around the building with the green side on the door. Further information regarding the venues, please kindly ask our staff with the I-LISS name tag.
And we would like to make some announcement about the program in the afternoon today. Please keep in mind from 5 to 6 p.m. that will be in the I-LISS committee meeting held on Bayasita Hotel. And during that time, we also provide the library tour to some of you who register for this activity. Please be ready in front of the hall. To remind you, at 6 p.m. there will be the reception, dinner, social networking at Su Kwan Hall at Bayasita Hotel. And you will meet me at the same MC in the evening as well. Please jot it in your schedule and don't miss it.
All right, so it's time for the opening ceremony. We would like to welcome all of you once again to the 7th International Conference and International Library and Information Science Society, or I-LISS 2023. And let's get to know more about us from the video presentation, Inspire Change, iSchool at KKU. Please enjoy.
The Information Science Department of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Kaen University, currently known as iSchoolKKU, was originally founded in the Faculty of Science and Arts KKU in 1975 on the strong foundation of the Library Science Department. The school has changed and moved forward to catch up with the dynamic advances of information science and technology. It aims at producing high-quality graduates who can employ data, information, and better knowledge to gain competitive advantages for their prospective organizations. In addition, iSchoolKKU is the first information science institution in Thailand to offer bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs. Is the first iSchool in Thailand and the 100th institution that has been selected to be a member of the iSchool organization, which is the International Federation for Global Information Science Educational Institutions. Keeps the instructional system changing to make teaching and learning current and meet the needs of business sectors based on the guidelines of the excellent BIS program of the iSchool organization, including excellent curriculum, excellent and diverse teachers, excellent and passionate students, excellent capstone projects, and excellent industry partnerships. For over 50 years, iSchoolKKU has produced high-quality information professionals and academics who achieve recognition at every working level. When the iSchool faces digital disruption, we are not reluctant to prepare our graduates for the future working world and equip them with high competencies, creative thinking, entrepreneurship, and societal responsibilities. As we believe change is challenging, iSchoolKKU inspires change.
Thank you very much, and we hope you guys get to know more about us from the video presentation.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, follow with me now. We would like to invite the president of I-LISS to deliver a welcome speech and introduction of the I-LISS. Please welcome Professor Dr. Dong Kino, please.
Welcome all participants, offline and online. During last 2 years, we have experienced never anticipated severe situation of COVID-19. So we have no chances to meet all together. Now, just after the COVID-19, together in our Khon University. Personally, I have been here more than 6 months. So I myself are very well accustomed to many situations, and I know that great hospitality of our Khon University members. So it is a great chance to meet all of you again here in Khon, because so many presenters waiting for you to present their achievement in person or online. So I will not do my speech so long, but anyway, this time so many people say that we should always to be prepared to the change. Already the presentation for the Khon University's iSchool said that there will be change. So many people say that one thing never changes, that there must be change always. So we should be prepared to the change anytime. So I hope today's presentation and our rejoining can help for all of our attendants, online and offline. Today and tomorrow, we will present more than 40, almost 50 articles, offline and online, from the more than 10 nations. So we hope all of you can enjoy our time with the very delicious Thailand food also. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, the President of I-LISS.
So now, as to deliver her welcome speech and reporting remarks, we would like to invite Professor Dr. Kuntida Tuamsuk, Chair of the I-LISS 2023 conference on stage. Please welcome.
Associate Professor Dr. Maitri Intraprasit, Vice President for Education and Academic Service, Khon University. Professor Dr. Dong Kun O, President of I-LISS. Professor Dr. Gobinda Chaudhry, our keynote speaker today. He flew far away from UK. Thank you so much. Executive member of the committee of I-LISS, who are from India, from Philippines, from Japan, I believe, and other countries. All the presenter and participants who are online and also today on site with us. Great honor for the Department of Information Science, Khon University, to host this 7th I-LISS International Conference today. I have to thank so much to Professor O, who insisted me that KKU has to be organizer of this conference last year, but because of the time and also still COVID still going on in Thailand, so we could not able to do that. And I'm happy to see all faces that can gather and have a commitment for the development of library and information science education, such like I-LISS. I must say that for the library and information science education, especially at KKU, we are facing the very challenging and something that very high driving force for us to change our education in this era because of the disruption of technology and disruptive of everything. At Khon University, you might have seen from the presentation that the education in our information profession has changed. We have really to look for the new target. So you might have seen that education here has target for the industry arena, not just only libraries in the past. I think because of higher education now, we are in the situation that learners who are coming into the program just finished from the high school, they really are not like in the past. Some of them don't want to go into the university for the degree, and we have in decreasing number of the student intake every year. So I think it's in the position that all who are educators have really to change the way of to deliver the content and the way to prepare the student to be ready for the new society. That's what we are hoping, that there will be a platform for discussion during 2 days of the I-LISS conference. Therefore, the I-LISS conference, the 7th I-LISS conference, focus on the theme of transforming information and library education and profession for the next. What's the next? Next, maybe next generation, next disruption, next environment, and whatsoever next, that we don't really know what's going to happen, but at least we are ready to prepare for them. The conference is a hybrid mode. You know that we have around 160 participants, and we have around 44, I believe, of the papers that submit for presentation. Around 59 people are here in this on site, and the other participants are online. We hope you still with us until the end of the 7th I-LISS. I hope you learn from each other and have opportunity to discuss on the very challenging issue of information and library education and profession for the next generation, maybe. Thank you so much. And thank you to the Vice President for coming to this, to preside over this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Kuntida Thuamsuk, for your welcome speech.
Without further ado, may we invite Associate Professor Dr. Maitri Inpasit, Vice President for Education and Academic Services, Khon University, to deliver a remarkable opening address. Please welcome on the stage.
Good morning, everyone. The Professor O, the President of I-LISS, and Professor Kuntida, Chair of I-LISS Conference, distinguished keynote presenters, participants, and member of the organizing committee. It gives me great pleasure and honor to preside over the opening ceremony of the 7th International Conference of I-LISS 2023, which is being held today in Khon University by the Information Science Department of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, iSchoolKKU. Khon University was established as the major university in the northeastern part of Thailand in 1964 and has developed itself to become one of the top universities in Thailand and Southeast Asia. KKU has been announced to be one of the 9 national research universities in Thailand and an education hub of the Greater region. The university's major mission is to prepare future global citizens to work in a continually changing world. At the same time, it places importance on social development and sustainability. Therefore, in the year 2023, KKU is now celebrating its 60th anniversary for the recognition as the university with a heart for social devotion. This I-LISS 2023 is one of the highlighting event to celebrate KKU 60th anniversary. Information is the cornerstone of societal growth and is required to create a knowledge society. It is a component of the creative and development process, as well as the factors in the advancement of the economy, society, cultures, education, and research. Developed nations are aware of its significance and activity promote information utilization for a country's progress. Today's information and communication technology is one of the major factors causing the way people communicate, locate, retrieve, and information. In addition to prepare future information professionals, researchers, and scholars for a world that is becoming more and more information-driven, information library education is committed to understanding the roles of information in nature's and human endeavors. Information and library education and profession have embraced the new information and communication technology more profoundly than many other fields for the strength and success of our professions. The 7th I-LISS International Conference 2023 is therefore organized under the themes as Professor Kuntida mentioned, transforming information and library education and profession for the next, as she mentioned already, through hybrid mode and by the International Information Science Department, iSchoolKKU, Faculty of Humanities Social Sciences, Khon Kaen University, Thailand, in collaboration with Khon Kaen University and also, how to say, KISTI, right? Korea Institute of Science and Technology Information and Future and Risk Incorporated, South Korea, and Gale Company during July 20 and 21st. In order to encourage innovation, augmentation, and utilization of ICT technology to provide the right information in the right user at the right time and the right way, as she says, following the COVID-19 pandemic. Now is an auspicious times. I would like to welcome everyone to the I-LISS International Conference 2023 and may now declare on the opening of the 7th I-LISS International Conference. Thank you to all the speakers, attendees, and members of the organizing committee. I hope the world meeting today succeed in all of the goals. I appreciate your work very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the Vice President for Education and Academic Services, Khon Kaen University.
And at this moment, may we invite Associate Professor Dr. Maitri in Prasit again, Professor Dr. Gobinda Chaudhry, Professor Dr. Dongkun Oh, and Professor Dr. Kuntida Twamsuk. Please kindly proceed to the stage and make the group photo, please. And also the second shot will be in front of the audience for the group photo as well.
ข้างหลังห้องก็นะครับฉีกยิ้มรอด้วยนะครับ เพราะว่ากล้องเราอยู่รอบ
Second
ห้องเลย
shot,
นะครับ
yeah. Second pose. Yeah, in front of the audience, please. Thank you so much. And the audience smile.
Smile. Oh,
for the group
stand up,
photo.
man.
Yes, this way, please. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, can we have everybody stand up
please stand
and
up,
smile?
please.
So we'll do the group photo together Or if you guys want to move forward a little bit so we can see everyone in the group photo shot, please join us.
So as I know now, all of you was now nervous and exciting because you have to present today. So don't worry that you can do anything like mini heart or smile or give me the money or give me the catch it up 1, 2, 3. Smile, please. Action หน่อยไหมครับ Please put your hand up and say yeah ครับ 1, 2, 3 yeah
Thank you so much. Lovely, guys. All right, so we have strong collaborative networks from all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. So I-LISS excellent collaborations are Khon University, Korea Institute of Science and Technology Information, or KISTI, and we have Fusionary and also Gale Company with us today.
Yeah, and may we ask you a favor to kindly flip your name tag that you have on your sheet now to evaluate us from the QR code behind. There are 2 QR codes, including the conference program and evaluation form.
That's right. Okay, if you all are ready, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the official opening ceremony of International Conference of International Library and Information Science Society, or I-LISS 2023. Next up is our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Gobinda Chaudhry from the University of Strathclyde, United Kingdom. He will be presenting his topic entitled Information and Library Science Education of the next generation professionals and researchers. May we take this opportunity to briefly introduce him to all of you. Professor Dr. Gobinda Chaudhry, he is a professor of information science in the Department of Computer and Information Sciences at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, United Kingdom. Previously, he had held several senior academic professions as a professor and head of mathematics and information sciences, and as the head of iSchool at Northumbria University in Newcastle, United Kingdom, and as a professor and director of information and knowledge management at the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia.
And Professor Dr. Chaudhry research focuses on connecting people with information through technology. He has a world-leading expert in digital library, cultural information management, and sustainable information system and services. He has published 16 books and over 160 research papers. His early research on the digital information system and services has received global recognition. Subsequently, his research on the digital library, cultural heritage information management, and sustainable information system and services, and also has resulted in several world reading publication, keynote, and conference chair position, invited talks, and also he has a successful letter and management number of the research projects commissioned. Also, so on, and his global reputation as the information scientist had led him to position of the global chair of the iSchool organization. His expertise has earned him invitation as the keynote speaker at several international conferences and various academic review boards, and as the consultant in information and knowledge management in a global organization like UN and IAEA in Vienna.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we call upon Dr. Gobinda Chaudhry on stage. Please welcome. All right, sure.
Hello, yeah, I think that this should be fine. Professor O, Chair of I-LISS, Professor Kultida, and a good friend of mine, Chair of the 7th I-LISS, and Dr. Kanyarat, thank you very much for inviting me here as a keynote speaker. And distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So before I begin, I should tell you a couple of things. I think Professor Kultida has very eloquently mentioned, we can define next generation in any different ways, and who has seen next, who has seen future. So that's one of the key problems that I have, key challenges that I have, to talk about something that I have never seen, and I will never see, because we don't know. You probably have heard in the media that very recently people said that universities, and this was a debate actually, that how universities and higher education systems should prepare themselves for future. And several distinguished people said that most of the jobs, nearly 60% of the jobs that exist today around the world did not exist 20 years ago. So when I say that I'm talking about next generation, I do not know what kind of job environment will be there, what kind of technology will be there, what kind of society will be there, but I'll try my best. The only thing that I have a little bit of comfort in is where I come from. And I think I should share this with you. You've already heard about my background and what I have done and so on and so forth. Now, there are two things that I have learned over the years, is that any subject, any discipline, and especially library and information science, need to adapt itself and adapt quickly with the evolving society, with technology and so on. That's one thing. The other thing that I think I have in my kind of experience in my bag is that over the years, given my role in different international organizations, including sort of formally Professor Kultida and I were involved. For example, there was CSAP, which was iSchool's equivalent for the Asia Pacific, and then subsequently my role as in the iSchools as the European chair and then the global chair. So I have had the opportunities to talk to people in different parts of the world regularly. As a chair of the iSchools, regularly meet with the deans and directors of the iSchools. So I have had that understanding and insight of what the information profession at present looks like. And in a way, COVID-19, although was really something nobody wished it had happened, but there is always some kind of a lesson to learn from any disaster. And our profession, fortunately, around the world, and I'm proud to say, have really adapted very quickly with the COVID-19 situation to move into, say, for example, hybrid conference situations, hybrid learning environments, and so on. So this is kind of the background that will help you understand where I'm coming from and what we are talking about. So this is broadly the outline, but again, I do have a very bad habit that I never follow my own outline. I get sort of carried away in between. So please bear with me, and you can stop me and say that this is something nonsense or rubbish you are talking. Now, roughly speaking, what I will do is, in my discussions today, I will try to divide the kind of challenges and opportunities both for information science and library and information education from three different perspectives. I'll start with a rather provocative question. What is a library? And do we really need a library when Google can do everything? Now, I say this because this is the question I have heard millions of times, and probably many of you have heard, that many university bosses, many government departments, ministers, they say that, oh, there is Google. You can find anything that you want in Google. Why do you need a library? What is so special? So I'll start with that provocative question and try and understand where, as the iSchool, where we stand, and because this is KKU iSchool platform I'm standing on, I will try to give you a very brief understanding of what the iSchool's perspective is. Then I will try and kind of describe what are the different types of different types of expertise rather, and professional experience and expertise that an information professional needs. And I will discuss that through a framework. But then I will move on to some of the challenges that we are facing and some of the challenges that we can at least foresee coming in the near future, not very distant future, in the near future. And within that kind of, changing environment, I'll try to situate and explain my understanding of, or my vision on the future of library and information profession. So that's how I want to progress. So let's start. Now, when we talk about libraries, this is the first thing that, at least this is the traditional view of a library, that there'll be big shelves and there'll be a lot of books, okay? Now, this has changed slightly. Now you can see, and I have done this on purpose, I'll explain that in a while. So what's so special about libraries? The first one is only a lot of shelves, okay, and books and so on. The second one has changed into a learning commune, learning environment, knowledge sharing environment, where you can see the size of the shelves has become smaller and people are sitting with their own devices so they can access to knowledge. We are not necessarily restricted to access to knowledge and content and data and information through books. We can do that. Books are still important, okay? People predicted that, oh, with the internet, books will disappear, libraries will disappear. Luckily, they have not. Thank goodness. I would have lost my job long time ago then. Now, again, the nature of the content, information, data, that's the library's main business, or what you can say that the core component of the business, that's still there, but they have become quite diverse. And that is what I'm going to discuss in a while. But again, the services have changed, but this is the question, that what libraries can do that Google can't, okay? Now, and I know I have kind of worked with people, and I have visited Google office several times in my career, spoken to senior people, and many people predicted that when Google started digitizing books, Google Books era, people thought that libraries are going to disappear because Google Books are sort of easily available and everything. Now, again, that has not happened, because what we have in the libraries, we have a better knowledge of users and their context. And I will kind of explain that just in my subsequent slides. We have a professional society, professional practice, professional ethos behind it. Our services cover both physical and digital. We provide value-added services, and that value-added services is based on the users and their context. Again, I'll give some examples. And our services are research-led. So this is, broadly speaking, kind of where we stand in the library and information world, and that is different from technology world. Now, I'm not saying that we do not need Google or we do not need technology, but we can adapt those services, pad them up or improve them with our understanding of the users and knowledge of the context and so on. So this is, broadly speaking, very rough idea of where we stand in the library and information world. Our key business is, and this is interestingly also the mission of the iSchools, to connect people, and people belong to society, with data and information and content by using appropriate technology, which is ICT tools, standards, etc. So this is where we in the middle belong, that our mission is to connect people with data and information using appropriate technologies. Now, when you say people, obviously people belong to either some institutions, and these are only examples. This is not an exhaustive list, but examples, just to kind of give you an idea, what I mean by people and users and so on. So people belong to institutions, just as we are here. We belong to institutions like universities and so on. Some people belong to businesses, some people belong to government, health, and various other institutions. Why I'm saying this? Because, our nature, our requirements, our practices, habits, etc., is influenced by the institution that we belong to. So if you think of the university students here, faculty here, university researchers here in Kaen or in Thailand, for example, our nature of information seeking, our practices of dealing with information is very much influenced by the institution where we belong to. And it is different, again, in Thailand, for example, it is different in the context of health, in the context of government and business and so on and so forth. However, we also are human beings, individuals. So as an individual, we also belong to society, and that society changes or influences our information need, our information behavior and context and so on. So the point here I'm making is that all of these people here, sitting here, and everyone around the world, their information need, information context, etc., can be influenced by the institution that they belong to. Now, this is a very narrow definition, by the way, because even within the university, for example, there are different community of practice, or there are different schools of learning that, like, for example, the way historians deal with information, the way people from literature deal with information and data is quite different from those who are in the engineering discipline or in social sciences discipline and so on, because there are cultural practices and there are kind of community of practice that influences their behavior. And this is what I've seen personally through my research in research data management. I've been kind of doing research data management for a number of years. I've supervised a number of PhD students. And when we spoke to people from different disciplines, we found out that the way they look for data, the way they want to classify data, tag data, use data, share data is very much different amongst astronomers versus historians versus computer scientists versus social scientists. So our way of dealing with information changes, and that is something that we should know. Now, if you think of a parallel to this, parallel to the library world, search engines also try to understand us as our group, our behavior, etc. But we, within the library world, are in a much better position to do that. Because you see, what happens that as soon as we log into our university system, it is possible to know who we are. The system, as soon as you log in, the system knows that you were a third-year undergraduate student studying such and such subject. And therefore, automatically, it can identify what courses you are taking, what exams you have to sit, what kind of information you want to access, what kind of books you are supposed to read, because we have a good profile of user that we can already have kind of knowledge of and we can use. Similarly, if you are a researcher, belong to a research institution, as soon as you log in, the system can understand who you are. And that's very useful in today's world. Now, if you see a parallel, for example, the same technique that search engines also try to do. If you have bought something in Amazon, next time when you log into Amazon, they will tell you that you probably like this and that and that. Why? Because they have tried to build your profile. Last time, if you have bought a jar of jam for your granny, next time you log in, they will tell you there are more jams available for you. But you may not want to give your granny may have been very unhappy with that jam. So therefore, you may not even ever buy any bottle of jam. But that is how they try to predict your behavior. Whereas we are in a much better position in the information world, because we know that as a library, people are associated with it. And this is the same thing that if you think about your local library, public library, for example, it's exactly the same, that they know the community. The public libraries are designed to serve the community. So therefore, they have a much better understanding of who these people are, what their livelihood is, what kind of professions they are, what kind of schools children go to, and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to say here is that I'm trying to establish that where we have strength that conventional search engines and databases do not have. I'll give more examples later. So with regard to context, again, just this is a reminder, I'm trying to preach here the converted people. You already know that, as a library, for example, these are again simple examples. If you think of the academic libraries, for example, institutions, then you have students and faculty and so on. And you all know, because if you have a faculty of engineering, if there are 200, 500 faculty members, 5,000 students, you have a good understanding of who those people are, what their needs are, because these are all defined by the curriculum. This is all described in their reading list. This is all kind of described in the kind of exams they are taking and so on and so forth. So therefore, you have, as a library, much better control of the understanding of the environment and their requirements. The same goes in special libraries and research libraries. National libraries, again, it is anybody in the country or even anywhere in the world could be user, but national libraries have a slightly different mandate also to become the storehouse of the national knowledge heritage. So therefore, they have an understanding, and I know this very well personally because I have regular sort of collaborations with the national libraries, like the British Library, for example, or the National Library of Scotland, in course of different projects and activities and different events and so on. So again, there is a much better understanding of what the content and knowledge that the organization is dealing with, and therefore also who the potential users are and their behavior. Public libraries, again, ideally anybody can be a user of a public library, but they are designed specifically to cater for the needs of a particular community in a particular geographical area. In British context, this is defined as by the local council or the local municipality or local city council that defines the kind of the public libraries and the geographical area and so on. So what I'm trying to say here is that this is something that we should keep in view as our asset, that this is by definition, this is our set of skills. So this is broadly kind of the background where we stand as libraries. But now what I will try to do is I will try to identify the set of skills that people need, library and information professionals need, based on a framework that is used by any library and information school in the UK. The professional accreditation body CILIP that allows sort of us to kind of map our curriculum based on that. So this is how it looks like. I'll pause for a while for you to take a look at this, and then I'll try and explain. It may look very complicated, but it is not. Okay, so take a look at this wheel. What does it say? It has got different sections. At the center, in different color, it says that ethics and values. And then it is divided into a set of professional experience. At the bottom, a set of generic skills. And then outer circle, you can see that professional development, then organizational and environmental context, and the wider data, information, and library context. This is very useful framework for us to situate ourselves. And I am using this purposely because I've got experience in using this as sort of, revising our curriculum and also sort of, defining what kind of job market we are going into, etc., etc. I'll discuss some of these in details in a while. But there are three different things that you can, or rather 4 different things that you can think of here. It defines some sort of skills that are needed, some core skills, some generic skills, and some specific skills. It also tells you that all of these skills that we need, they cannot be considered in isolation because there is the organizational environment and context that is important. So if you are working in an engineering university or if you're working in a health context, then some of these skills might change because of the context. Similarly, it says that the wider data, information, and knowledge sector context, it also tells you that it is not a fixed set of skills that you need, all the generic skills particularly. It changes over time and you have to be adaptable. And then, of course, the professional skills and professional development, that is also extremely important, and that needs to be updated, and that needs to be sort of changed in accordance with the other sectoral requirement as well as the wider requirement. So this is kind of the broad framework. Let's spend 5 or so minutes on this and try to understand, unpack this, what it is, what does it tell us. So I have already discussed this, explained this. There are core principles which are ethics and values. Now, library and information profession is based very much at the core of ethics and values. Remember why the libraries were created in the first place. Libraries were created for democratization of knowledge. Before libraries were created, still people had those time, for example, religious institutions or rich people, kings and lords and people like that, they had their own collections. But many people, for one reason or the other, did not have the opportunity to access that. Libraries were created for democratization of knowledge. The second thing, libraries were created also to bring up the society and reduce the inequalities, that you need not be a very rich person, you need not belong to a particular community to be able to use that knowledge. Library is an open door policy, irrespective of rich or poor, whichever sort of, gender you come from, whatever background, socioeconomic background you come from. So democratization of knowledge, and at the core of that is this ethics and values. So I'll again explain some of this going forward. Professional development, of course, there are a range of professional skills that people need in the library and information context. We'll look at some of those. But then again, those professional skills are very much influenced by, or enriched by rather, I would say, the generic skills, and those generic skills again has to be kind of updated as time passes. Let's take a look at some of these. Ethics and values. There are 7 ethical principles that overall govern the library and information profession, library and information set of skills. Human rights. Now, you may think that, human rights, how does it fit? UNESCO has identified that access to information is a fundamental human right. Okay, so this is the core principle, that as a library and information professional, our fundamental core belief is that access to information is a right. And indeed, this has also been agreed by the United Nations, and therefore there is a Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 16.10, which says that rights to access to information is a fundamental right, and it has been agreed by the United Nations as a Sustainable Development Goal, 16.10. The second one is equality and diversity. Again, I said that libraries' main mission is democratization of knowledge. If you go to a library, nobody asks you that which socioeconomic background you come from. They should not differentiate the service, or kind of, make any changes to service depending on your gender or depending on your other background or whatever it is. So equality and diversity is, again, should be embedded within the fundamental kind of ethos of library and information services, and therefore the training program and everything else. Information is for public benefit. Now, this is something that, again, although most of the big tech companies also today say that information is for, Google says that, or Elon Musk says that, or Mark Zuckerberg says that, oh, our service is only to make your life better. The difference, and we also say that libraries, our job is, our service is to make your services, your life better. The only difference is that as a library, we do not want to see that at the end of the year, what is our balance sheet, whether we are earning money, how much we are earning, and how much dividend we are giving to our shareholders. Our aim is to overall improve the quality of life of society. The mission of the library, for example, at KKU is to provide, improve the support for all the students, all the faculty, all the researchers, and also other people who are associated, affiliated with the university, to improve their life, to improve their, whatever is their goal, right? Better education, better research, better scholarship, better knowledge exchange, etc. Preservation. Preservation of knowledge is an extremely important role of a library. Now, I'm not saying that every library does the preservation work, but it has to be the kind of built into the ethos and training program that preserving the knowledge of the country. As I said, the national libraries have a mandate to maintain the national knowledge base, because through the legal deposit and all sorts of other legal and regulatory framework. But understanding that preserving knowledge is one of the core principles of the Library and Information Service is important. Intellectual freedom. We provide knowledge to people, and again, this is related to UNESCO's mission that information is a fundamental right, and it is a way to improve people's intellectual freedom. Impartiality. That there is, the information that you provide should be impartial. And this is where libraries have a major role to play. I will show that in a while, by improving the kind of knowledge and skills of people, digital skills and understanding, digital literacy and understanding of, the kind of capacity to differentiate between good and bad information and so on. And confidentiality of the development of information skills and information literacy. Confidentiality is extremely important because as a user, your identity should be confidential. That is, nobody else should know. You can go to a librarian, for example, or you can go to an online service and they keep your log, but that log should not be used, which is where we are different from the search engines and various other technology-based services. So, 9 professional expertise. How are you doing with time? Okay. 5 more minutes on this, and then I'll move on to this. 9 professional skills and expertise. Collection management and development. There are a set of skills that are required, like collection management, resource selection, acquisition, licensing, and planning for continued further use, and so on. There is one thing that I should mention here, and then I will come to those in subsequent slides, is that the whole world now is moving into kind of open access ethos, open access principles. So universities are, or science and technology institutions, and I'm sure you will find some presentations there, in these today's sessions, that every funding agency, national research institutes, or research funding agencies, etc., they are trying to promote the idea of open access. So within the library and information environment, we are now sort of, have two sets of, at least 2 minimum sets of choices, the paid for service or closed content versus open access content. And fundamentally, and of course, there comes the resources and then the licensing and continuity of the content, etc., that come into picture. But it changes the environment, and that is what I can foresee, that within the next 10 years, most of the research-led content and university and research institution led content will be open access, and that changes the dynamics quite significantly. Data management has become extremely important. Now I can tell you that, and I was part of that discussions and development at the university top level. In the UK, for example, there is a mandate that any research that is, it started in 2015, any research that is done within the university premises by anyone student, faculty, researcher, the data has to be made available for the next 10 years at least, or anytime that is used 10 years after that. That is, if the data set remains unused for 10 years, in the 10th year, someone uses that data, you have to keep it for another 10 years. So what is the principle there? The principle is that any research that you do, the data has to be made available so that you do not reinvent the wheels. You promote research, you share research, and you build on the shoulder of other giants. And that is the fundamental principle. And then going forward, I think as the open access content and open access data, this is going to be kind of, the common thing in the world. Where do the publishers come in here? That's a big debate. Now, we have had several discussions with the publishers, with various international agencies, like Springer, for example. And there is a discussion and debate as to how their business sits in that, what kind of value they can add. But fundamentally, the principle is that any research data, whatever is the economics,
คุณก็เขียนตามสิ่งที่ต้อง
any research
ตาม
data
ข้อ
should
มูล
be
ของ
made
ข้างหลังเมื่อกี้ครับ
openly to
เริ่มต้นนะครับเราจะดูที่
that's where
ที่ฟอร์ม
both content and data come in.
ฟอร์มเรามันจะมี
Information exploitation and use, again, kind of, these are the traditional services like reference services and abstracting and promoting services, but this is changing again, sort of in today's technology context. Information governance, this is becoming extremely important because as we move from kind of, peer-reviewed or conventional publishing to open access publishing, we need to ensure that the research data integrity and the research quality, the content quality is maintained, and research integrity has become therefore a major area of research in every university now. And I know in the Western world, for example, especially research integrity is taken so seriously. I know in Germany, for example, and I have got a friend there who runs an international center on research integrity. Some people, professors, lost their jobs because they did not do it, but their doctoral students actually used them. And remember, well, any university I would imagine, but definitely in the Western world, that if you are the supervisor of a PhD student, if the PhD student does any kind of crime with data and content, especially with regard to integrity, you will also be responsible for that. So therefore, which means that the student was not given proper guidance, or there were no controls in place and so on. And many professors in even such a big university like Humboldt lost their jobs because of that. There have been many research papers that have been redacted from Nature and Science because the data sets the data sets were not quite accurate, and therefore research could not be reproduced. So the research papers have been redacted, and the authors' institutions were given a notice by Nature and Science that these are clearly academic malpractice. And this is becoming a challenge in the open access world, a challenge in the open data sharing and in that. And also technology, in a way, allows people to sort of, we'll come to ChatGPT and generative AI just in a while, but, creating and not creating, I think faking content and knowledge is relatively easy in today's world. And there are, kind of, some people try to collect data and content and then sort of, assume that nobody else will know. I can pass it on as my own research paper in some other journal and so on. So this is an area where information professionals' skills and training come in place. Broadly, information management, this is where we come from. Yes, this is our strength. Believe me that many of our iSchools graduates, especially in the US, for example, they go to big kind of tech companies for metadata and subject indexing and creating categorization using different tools of users, of content, of different services, and so on and so forth. And this is really our strength, that we can claim that there are no other professions who provide that much of set of skills and so on. We have expertise in that. Typical knowledge management, yes, there are a lot of knowledge management skills. A lot of our graduates, library and information science graduate, information management graduates, go into the knowledge sector to use tools to pull knowledge from multiple sources, do different kinds of, integration mashups with data from multiple sources. Some of my students, for example, do the PhD or their MSc dissertation on how you can pull data from World Bank, IMF, and multiple OECD and multiple country databases, and then share that sort of knowledge repositories to build profiles of what and answer big questions, that what is the gender difference, for example, in the textile industry versus in the banking industry in different countries, and why does it happen? Is it because of education? Is it because of the gender diversity? Is it because that there is a gender ratio sort of difference in the school entry, university entry in different disciplines? All of this data is available, and this is where a set of skills and sharing knowledge and shared resources will be useful. Literacies and learning, we have always played a huge role, but increasingly this is becoming more and more important. And along with this literacy, I have another one which I will talk about in a while, environmental literacy. That is also becoming extremely important because environment is a real crisis for everyone, and therefore, along with that, all of this literacy listed there is environmental literacy. That is something new that has to be included. Records management and archiving, again, not necessarily everyone should learn everything about records management and archiving, but this is an interesting area of sort of library and information domain. Everyone should have this set of skills, research skills. Any library and information science student should have research skills. And research skills does not necessarily mean that they are going to do a PhD. Research skills means two things. One is to ask themselves, is this the only way to do this work? Are there any other better ways? Can we think of alternatives? And that is what is the fundamental kind of drive for research. Questioning, not accepting that this is because our sort of my predecessor has done it for the past 10 years and I will do this for the next 30 years as long as I'm in my job. Given the context, given the environment, given the tools and technologies at our disposal and resources, always question, is this the right way? Can we do it in a slightly different way? And if so, how can we do it better? How can we improve our services? And that's this kind of research is your research as well as being part of research. So these are some of the professional skills. There are 4 generic skills. Customer focus, as I said already, that this is something our strength. It is trying to understand your customer base, trying to understand sort of metrics and so on. Leadership and advocacy, this is extremely important that we should try and train our graduates to become future leader. And KKU has been really good in this. I know that many of the senior leaders sitting here or would be senior leaders sitting here who are former graduates of KKU. So they have inculcated this sort of leadership skills in this. Many other universities are doing the same thing. If not, then that is the way they should take. So therefore, leadership skills is not only you to become a leader, but let others to be leader as well. Let others to know what sort of skills they should acquire in order to lead the profession, in order to lead the service, in order to lead the institution, and so on. And there are strategy, as leadership, there are strategy and planning and management, etc., which is again part of the organization and the business where you are part of, and then how information service can support that. I had a friend who I worked with. He's in India now, but we worked with him. I knew him when we were doing PhD in Britain, but then later on I worked with him in Singapore. He used to work at some point for I think it was Defense Services, DESIDOC or something, or DRDO, I think DESIDOC. Yes, and later on he was working for the former president, Abdul Kalam. And he said that he learned so much by being, Abdul Kalam was the former president, but he was fundamentally a scientist. And he had his own different world he used to live in, and he would go for any length to find the relevant information and data for that. So again, part of that organization where you are serving and the part of the people and their kind of, vision, attitude towards knowledge and application of knowledge and data and so on, you have to be part of that. And obviously technology and communication. This is something that is changing very, very rapidly, very, very quickly. And this is something we need to not only teach people about the technology, but it is the adaptability to technology. That's most important. We do not want everyone to be kind of a proficient code writer or writing programs and codes, but they should understand how codes work. They should understand, they should be able to work with a team who are professional experts in coding, but should be able to tell them this is what we need and evaluate them. So this is where we come from. Although we teach in our course, in Information and Library Science course, we teach Python programming, for example, we teach databases, but our coders will never be equivalent to a computer science coder or a person who is doing their specialist courses in database management. So, but we need to teach them how to be kind of part of a team to understand and to help them and even to evaluate some of those activities. So this is about the framework. We are now moving into, thank goodness, I think you are getting tired. I'm now moving into the last part of my discussion. So knowledge-driven economy, and that, and I have read, Thailand government policies and Thailand 4.0 and so on. Thailand actually is moving very fast towards this knowledge economy concept. Content, again, I mentioned, content is changing, and open access is becoming the kind of trend. Technology, again, new sets of skills are required. People, now this is something that is always, people are our asset, I started with, but assets could be also liabilities, okay? And the liabilities is not in a very negative sense, but what is happening, I think many of us who teach at the universities, you probably have faced, and I purposely teach one of the first year computer science undergraduate classes on information systems. And the first day I asked them the question that how many of you can tell me that you cannot find the right information that you need at the moment? No hands up, everybody says that. So I tell them, okay, I assume that you are all experts in finding information. And then I say, I will ask you the same question at the end of the course. And then you should tell me that whether you are at the same opinion or whether you have identified yourself that you thought you knew, but you did not. And then that's the whole course is all about. And then the tasks are created in such a way that they challenge themselves and then they discover, no, this is not the right way. I did not find the right information, or I could have found better information, etc. So people's perception, and this is one of the key challenges, that everybody thinks that I can search something on Google and therefore I don't need any help, I don't need any support, I don't need any other skills. That's something we need to change. And data quality, again, data quality integrity is extremely important, and this is becoming more in the open access world, this is becoming a challenge. Governance, regulations, rights, privacy, this is one of the things that is becoming increasingly important. And you have seen, for example, several issues in the media recently about how people use or steal people's identity and do abuse or misuse their information and so on. So governance and policies come. And environment and climate change. This is becoming extremely important, and no matter whether we like it or not, everyone is going to be affected by this. So therefore, we all have a role to play. Now, we as the information profession have played a huge role in promoting education, promoting literacy, promoting digital literacy, and therefore, I think we should also think, and this is where I can at least see the future a little bit, not too far, near future, that we all should have acquired and also should be able to train people about how to understand the environment, what are the key things, key challenges, and so on. I'm doing some research projects in that area, by the way. So with regard to content, we have discussed this, so I'm moving quickly into this. Closed and open access is becoming kind of the main issue in the content world. And then indigenous knowledge. This is extremely important, that we have so far assumed that knowledge always has to be a written research paper or a written book or a written thesis. There's a lot of indigenous knowledge that goes on, and I did some work in Africa, for example, indigenous knowledge where oral tradition, community knowledge that is passed on. There is a lot of indigenous knowledge in the local industries, for example, in the cottage industries, in the local sort of, businesses. Even in Scotland, for example, there is a lot of local sort of set of skills that is passed on through generations. There are books are not written on that, okay? So how do you deal with that? And how do you add and customize, and then sort of what are the provenance and integrity, etc. So technology challenges fast changing, we all know that. One thing that is important, and this is something that we often do not know, but it is happening, that there is a lot of technology integration that is happening. In every country, for example, in the health area, in the science and technology area, even in some countries in the humanities area. For example, in Britain, there is now a national sort of level of effort and projects going on, which is called TANK, towards a national collection. That is one integrated collection and access points for cultural heritage anywhere in Britain, irrespective of which institution it is. I know KISTI, for example, is similar kind of effort there, that scientific and technological information should be accessible, and that is an integrated, there are standalone services, but an integrated service that can sort of change. Resources are of course important. Capacity, this is where we come in. This is something, now devil comes towards the end. AI, especially generative AI. Now this is becoming a debate and discussion, we know. Now if you ask me that what is my opinion, we meet at the iSchools level, global iSchools level, and in fact I created not only iSchools, I didn't create iSchools, I was chair, but I created something which is known as I-Federation, which is basically almost like a super body of iSchools, ASIST, which is the Association for Information Science and Technology, and I-LISS, Association of Library and Information Education. So the three bodies together called I-Federation. So why I created that, we wanted to discuss some global challenges, and AI is a global challenge now. AI is very good. AI has been used for several things for a number of years. For example, that search engines, AI is used. Machine learning is used in different ways, in health, in engineering, in marine technologies, several areas. But particularly generative AI, where they're trying to create or sort of influence the originality. Is that the right thing? I'm not sure, but I think it is not. If you try to create, if you try to use machine for doing everything, there won't be any original art, there won't be any original painting, there won't be any original poems, there won't be any original literature, and so on and so forth, research papers and so on and so forth. So eventually we will have the same thing coming up over and over again, generated by machines. Are we going in that direction? And is generative AI a good thing? My personal view is not. AI is very good, but as long as it is used and there is a control of using it for the right purpose, I'm all for it, but otherwise, so people have discussed this, we can move on quickly. And this is something that's where we come in, libraries, data, trust, and information, authenticity. We have discussed this, misinformation and disinformation. This is something that we discussed, and we have seen particularly during COVID-19 how misinformation was propagated and how it became quite challenging. So data misuse, we have mentioned it. Data-fied society is something important, and data-driven and data-fied, that is something that we should take notice of. Data-driven society is what, my next slide will show in Thailand, that is, and many countries actually, that is what they aim for, that everything that we do, whether it is policy making or governance or research or health or education, it has to be data-driven. But data-fied is something different. Data-fied, where you and I are data-fied. Someone, because we all have our mobile phone and turned on, someone somewhere knows where we are, who are in this place through our geolocation, what we are doing. And we are now datafied. Our movement is datafied. You come in here and then one of the search engines says that, oh, welcome to Bangkok or welcome to Kaen. These are your next taxi services that you can take off. In a way, it is good, but the scary thing is that we are datafied, that someone is always watching, not necessarily watching you, that they do not know you personally, but they have some way, some pointers to come straight onto you. And this is a dangerous thing. So yes, you know that the convicted criminals, they are given some kind of a tag so that the authorities can track them. We have not done anything wrong, but we are all convicted criminals of modern society. So this is the future that, in my view, this is where I think we are. I'll go up to the last one and yeah. So this is, in my view, is the summary of what? Emphasizing the professional perspectives, technology skills, communication skills, customer service skills, and continuous learning skills. 4 set of skills. Transferring libraries into a learning commons where people can come together, they can share knowledge, and universities are doing actually great in that area. Every university has created working space for people to, and similarly research institutions are doing. Open access and linked data, this is becoming kind of the order of the day, that an integrated environment where you can link data with multiple platforms. And then, integrating pedagogies along with the curriculum, and more importantly, the research that needs to be kind of, the platform or the foundation for all the activities that we do. For the sake of time, I'll quickly skip some of these, but this is something that you know of. And these are the Sustainable Development Goals. That is, again, everybody, rich, poor, Western world, Eastern world, developed countries, developing countries, everyone is going to be affected. And this is where we, as library and information professionals, because our business is information and data, we can really make significant contributions. I've got a book coming up. We have passed this. So this is the Thailand context. I was mentioning that Thailand is really making progress. You can see this World Bank report that they're making massive progress, and Thailand 4.0 aims for data-driven knowledge society and so on. And this is something particularly I thought I should draw your attention to. And again, within the context of sustainable development, Thai government is doing significant work. I have already mentioned this, but I will stop with my one slide. Yes, this is the one. This is the book that is coming up. You can see 2 Chaudhurys there. 1 Chaudhary is here. The better looking is here, and the ugly looking is sitting over there. If you don't agree, you are not my friends. Sorry about that. So this is the book that covers quite a lot of what is the future of library and information profession, especially in the context of the sustainable development, which is kind of driving the whole world, the economy, businesses. Every country has made a promise, and sort of activities are going on. And this is where our book shows that it will come out. We have already submitted the manuscript. It will come out somewhere in October this year. It will be published from London as well as New York, and it will give you kind of much better understanding of our view of what the library and information profession can do in the context of sustainable development goals. I'll stop here, and if we have time, then sort of I can take questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We open the floor for the question, please.
See, a lot of people are now depending on Google's ChatGPT. And what is the sustainable measures for the libraries or information centers? And whether any in future, what is the shape of the libraries and what are the goals?
I think this is a question that we all should kind of ponder and think about. Now, I have played with ChatGPT quite a bit, since it came out. In fact, during the last Christmas break, when I've got two sons, when they came home, we all four kind of wanted to challenge ChatGPT with various things. Now, interestingly, it produces very convincing results, beliefs that if you ask them to some questions about to answer something, or if you ask them to produce, even you can ask them to produce a set of key points for your lecture. I tried that I want to give a lecture on this topic. Can you come up with some broad topics? And then if I ask them, I did not understand that, can you give me some references? It comes up with that. And my children did this. One did more from the coding and programming point of view, another one from more health and so on. So we all played with that. Now, this is something very interesting and a challenge for us as to where this technology is going with regard to giving answers to people. And this is where libraries come in, that providing answers, providing data and content to them. Now, also there have been quite a few. Now, ChatGPT, for example, tells you that our data is based only up to 2020. So therefore, anything that has happened after that, we cannot guarantee for that. But we also do not know what data they have and how much data they have. That we do not know. It is something like that our undergraduate students or school leavers believe that if something cannot be found on Google on the first screen, that does not exist. Okay, so this is where the challenge comes, and this is where we, as the library and information professionals, should all try and see that where we stand. And this is what the discussion we are having at the I-Federation level as the information profession. Where do we stand in this world? Do we really leave it to these technology service providers, like OpenAI, for example, to tell all the answers? And people will accept it because most people do not question that. Most people do not ask them, give me the references. Why are you saying this? They are happy with some kind of believable answer. So my stand is that we should stick to our position that we are, as library and information profession, we are the stewards of knowledge and data. And anything that we provide is based on the trusted knowledge. And that is where our credibility comes in. And that is where we can question that whether every answer that is provided by these sort of tools, ChatGPT kind of tools. Google has come up with their version, BARD, B-A-R-D. It has been sort of made available in Europe. So this is an interesting point. But my view is that we still have our strength of understanding of knowledge and sources and understanding of the user and their context. And we still sort of should be able to put ourselves in that good position.
Any other questions? Yes, please.
Thank you so much for a very informative and interesting talk. Actually, I have two questions. Maybe you can, depending on the time. I think for us in Thailand now, those who are conducting study program in the university have to follow what we call outcome-based education or outcome-based curriculum. And the very key point of that is that demand-driven is the very challenging point. When you develop the curriculum or the program, you have to look at who would employ your graduates and what your graduates would be able to be in that market. So I would like to hear your perspective in terms of the information and library and information science education. I know that in the Western world, you don't really have bachelor degree program. So those who come into the program already maybe have some jobs or working in their profession, but here we have bachelor program. So it seems like in Thailand, when we are conducting or developing the curriculum, we have we have to swing, to sway according to whatever we have to meet with the demand of the market. Is this also the challenging for other, or especially in the Western world, for the library and information education? And another one, I know that you have lots of experience on the research by integrating information with the sustainable development. I know that we can wait to read your book, but I like you to give some examples so that we hear. Most of us are faculty members and researchers, to get maybe some idea that they might give some example from you to create a proposal for research or working on research with integrating sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you, Kultida. I think these are both fantastic questions. With regard to the first one, as to demand-driven curriculum, which is also sort of very much in the Western world as well. Like we have to, what is known as quinquennial review. We have every 4 years our curriculum. Every curriculum has to be reviewed, and in that review process, there is external panels that is created. And then there are employers, there are kind of various other stakeholders also are brought in, along with the former students, alumni, and so on. So that's one way we kind of see how the market is changing. So what I have done personally in my life, I have been part of various of the quinquennial review, both as head of department, that is our course, but also as an expert. In fact, I'm going to do that for another very renowned university in Britain in the next 3 months. I'm going to evaluate their curriculum. So from that experience, I can tell you that there are two things that we do. We try and understand that who are our traditional employers are, but we also try to imagine, or at least try to kind of expand that market, who could be our potential. Maybe some people, some agencies do not know about us. So we try and prepare a set of core skills generic skills that we prepare. And these are the generic skills that I said, that metadata, for example, categorization, classification, something, or maybe some kind of research driven where you can bring in data from multiple sources, create something. Many people do not know in the employment world that our graduates can do that. So I think it is one way would be to try and talk to those people and try and see what kind of job specs they have in their area, and try and prepare a set of sort of those requirements and try to bring them into your curriculum. That's one way of almost like not producing the graduate for the market, but trying to understand the market demand and bringing that into the curriculum design. That's almost the process that is done typically in the Western world in the quinquennial review. We can talk about that more in detail over coffee break. With regard to your second question, yes, I strongly believe, and in fact, I'm running a project now, 2 projects actually, in Britain about what role library and information services sector can do in the sustainable development area. One key area, as I mentioned already, that libraries can play in generally education always, because that's a common thing that we all do educate, whether it is formal education, school, universities, or informal lifelong learning through libraries, public libraries, and so on. So education. But indirectly, we also can contribute to a number of other things. Like, say, for example, we can see that through promoting library and information services, is it any way that we can reach out to more women, for example, those who are otherwise not coming to universities or higher education or even schools. For example, I can tell you that in my former job in Newcastle, we were running a national project called STEAM for women. That we noticed that traditionally, even in the Western world, not many people, women particularly, come into STEM subjects, especially in engineering subjects, in physics, in mathematics, and so on. So we tried to see that why it happens and what role can we play. So we created different models, and then we went out to parents as well as the schools and so on to try to understand that how we can bridge the gender divide in higher education. This can be done through libraries. There are also a lot of other things that can be done indirectly to create, say, for example, sustainable behavior, sustainable consumption, what is known as sustainability education. So, and the libraries are, even UNESCO specifically says that for sustainable education, education for sustainable development, libraries have a major role to play. And all these things are discussed in our book. Thank you.
Some more one. Come. All member. Okay, after sessions. Thank you. Have some more question? Just one question. Maybe behind of the room, or Ajahn Nat or Ajahn Virapong, where are you? Thank you so much. Please give big round of applause for Professor Dr. Gobinda Chowdhury for his informative and inspiration speech for us. And also, may I invite you to stand up? I would like to present and introduce Dr. Sutadda Chowdhury to his wife in our event as well, so we don't miss anything now. So for such inspiring presentation, don't forget that we will still have the Magnificent Tree special presentation. Okay, so this request session, we want to take a group photo. I would like to invite all of you walk to front of the stage, and we will arrange the photo group one more time, please. ครับเดี๋ยวเชิญด้านหน้าครับท่านอยากจะถ่ายรูปด้วยครับขอให้ท่านที่แต่งหน้ามาแล้วนะครับแล้วก็ทำผมมาแล้วนะครับนั่นนะครับเป็นโอกาสที่ดีนะครับที่จะออกไปสื่อนานาชาติด้วยนะครับภาพนี้นะครับท่านอาจารย์เป็ดบอกว่าเดี๋ยวจะไปลงที่วารสารนานาชาติเลยนะครับเรียนเชิญครับทุกท่านครับใส่เต็มเชิญทุกคนครับ
Everyone please come to the stage, and we'll do the group photo session before we go to have the coffee break.
Yeah.
So we've got 15 minutes for the coffee break. And just to make some announcement, we also have the exhibitions from our lovely sponsors and collaborations, GISTAB, Fusionary, KISTI, and Gale Company, showcasing on the 3rd floor of the GS building. So please kindly visit all the booths on the 3rd floor during our coffee break today.
ครับนิสิตนะครับท่านตอนนี้ไม่จำกัดอายุนะครับท่านไหนที่เข่าดีเชิญด้านหน้านะครับอาจารย์โบ๊ทด้วยนะครับ
Okay, let's do mini heart and smile. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the group photo session.
Thank you.
Very lovely. Thank you so much. And at this moment, it's time for the coffee break. We've got 15 minutes for the coffee break, and we'll be right back after 15 minutes for the special presentations from our 3 lovely sponsors. And the announcement, we have the exhibitions from our sponsors and collaborations on the 3rd floor. Please kindly visit all the booths on the 3rd floor. We also have the exhibitions from the host, iSchoolKKU, and also the HRG as well. Enjoy the coffee break, everybody. Thank you so much for the morning session, and thank you so much for joining the opening ceremony today.
And have the present day ขอบคุณครับ 10:45, we will come back to this room, please, on time. Well, welcome back to the conference hall. Hello, 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 hello.
สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome back to the 7th I-LISS International Conference 2023. And for this session, it will be the special presentations.
Yes.
So we have 3 special presentations today from Gale Company.
And
We also
Future.
have, what else we have? We have KISTI.
Yes.
And the other one, we have
Future.
Future. So 3 special presentations. So we're going to start off with the first one, which is KISTI, Korea Institute of Science and Technology Information, ladies and gentlemen.
Where, like now?
Before.
Okay.
So, all right, so today,
In Yongnam, I'm sorry for wrong pronunciation.
yeah, so we have Miss Eun Yong Nam, KISTI, Korea Institute of Science and Technology Information. She's the senior researcher and team leader of Access On Development Team, Open Access Center, currently in charge of managing of Open Access Platform, Access On and Peer Review System. ACOMS Plus. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her on stage.
Sawadika. Hello everyone, my name is Eun Young Nam and I am a senior researcher at Open Access Center of KISTI. I am really pleased and honored to have a chance to talk to you about KISTI's Open Access platform here at I-LISS conference. Personally, this is my first time to visit Thailand, but I have already too many good memories, met good people. So thank you for everyone who organizing this conference. So today I'm going to introduce KISTI's Open Access platform. It is called Access Zone. This is the structure that I'm going to talk. In the beginning part, I'll give you provide some basic and background information around Access Zone and details of the features of the platform. So before I start, I'll briefly introduce KISTI. KISTI is a leading research institute dealing with science and technology information. Our mission is to lead innovative growth of Korea dealing with science and technology informations. So KISTI is conducting various research of all those. We focus open science-based systems and SNT data analysis and supercomputing and some innovative research to resolve social issues with the data. So KISTI, one of those research KISTI is doing is open science. So KISTI has been reading open science of South Korea based on science and technology infrastructures and platforms. These are the 4 systems, 4 platforms of open science: Open Access Platform, Access Zone, and Open Data Platform, Data, and Science and NTIS support open collaborations. So of these 4, I am going to talk about Open Access Platform, Access Zone. Open access has been one of the important agendas in scholarly communications since Budapest Initiative, as you well know. KISTI has been trying to vitalize open access and support local academic societies and with systems, sometimes policies, during the past 2 decades. So I can say it is access zone that KISTI's research and all ideas are gathered and integrated. It is not working. Can you help me? It's not working. Oh, okay, now it's working. This is what access zone looks like, and access zone is a platform to support open access systematically. So it is designed to support life cycle process of scholarly publishing from authoring to disseminating. So this platform was launched in last 2020. Access Zone is an open system, so anyone who wants can access freely. It supports not only Korean, but also Korean language, but also partially English language. So platform supports a wide range of stakeholders, including the general public and academic societies or institutions, libraries, students, and researchers. We are dedicated to open access mission. Access Zone's mission is to establish open scholarly ecosystems through open access and digital transformation. This platform systematically harvests and provide access to Korean R&D research output, and we also support sustainable open access publishing for academic societies. So with Access Zone, users can do essential research activities they need for when they are writing and publishing a paper. There are four sub-platforms and 2 integrated systems. First, there is Access Zone Discovery, and we call it Discover. And second, co-authoring tool and platform, which is called Collab. With the Collab, users basically do everything they need for collaboration with their co-authors, such as citing references, sharing files, or communication, and co-writing a manuscript, and so on. And third, users do self-archiving their research outputs to access an open repository. And also, users can check if the genre they are planning to submit their articles has any predatory issues or not. So, and there is a peer review system, which is called ACOMS Plus. And we have a platform to support open access journals in Korea. So it is online publishing and disseminating platform. As you can see, Access Zone is an integrated platform with its sub-platforms and integrated system. So I'll give you, I introduce the pictures of the Access Zone. Discover is Access Zone's discovery service. Users can search and access to open access research articles from all around the world. So all articles have full text or I-LISS available link. So users can find not only just the published version, but also preprint or post-print. Discover provide not only just the basic information about journal and articles, but also the open access status. As you well know, gold or bronze, green, or and etc. So one of the recent issues in academic societies is, I guess, it's retraction. So it is very important to convey exact information to users, I guess. So users can check the about the information about retracted articles and why they are retracted through Access and Discover. So as of this week, we have 40 million articles in Access and Discover. So we basically harvest open access data from international and Korean data providers, and we aggregate those data and then index and access, and through Access and Discover, users can access and so Collab is tools designed to support all you need for online collaboration. It supports not only all the process when you're writing a paper, but also submission and publishing. Collab has 3 sub-tools, project managing tool, Collab platform, and identifying open access articles and the collecting supporting tool, Collab Gate, and co-writing supporting tool, Collab Pan. So these 3 tools are connected to each other. It also supported to generate XML format from docs to XML. The XML conversion process is based on a standardized template with XSON styles, so its accuracy rate is over 90%. If it is XSON template, so we are planning to create a customized template for each genre. Collab platform is project managing platform, so users can manage a project like creating new project or editing project informations. And they can also upload some research data or images they want to insert manuscript. Users can also check references collected from CollabGate and manuscript you are working on through Collab Pan. These are the images from Collab platform. You can manage references for all authors, stores for the project, and manage co-authors, and you can check files you uploaded. CollabGate is a Chrome browser extension, so it tells you if the article you are looking at is open access or not, and it helps you save it as a reference for your project. So if you want to CollabGate, you can just add it from Chrome Web Store. So if the article is open access, there comes the XSON icon on the left side like this. So it shows 5 different colors of open access. If you click the icon, it will directly to the full text or available link. So these images shows how you can save as your reference. You can save the articles including full citations to project or your reading list. You can store your references in XSON library, and you can also leave notes if you want. Collab Pan is a Word plugin to support collaborative authoring. Collab Pan supports real-time writing and communication. Users can write and manage manuscripts by project, and you can insert citations after choosing a style you want, like APA or MLA, and you can cite using, if you don't have any references stored in your library, you can use XSON search service Discover. So you can also insert images in the manuscript you're writing. If you want to deposit your manuscript to XSON before publishing, You can directly deposit by clicking buttons without leaving collab pan. So this images shows how you can use write a paper using those three sub tools of collab. So I skip it, and I guess self-archiving is as important as in open access, like as much as open access publishing. Oh, sorry. So we provide open repository for researchers to, they can deposit their published versions or pre-printed or post-print. They published it behind the paywall. So there are many features to support self-archiving in here. We offer journal archiving policy from Sherpa Romeo for Korean journals from KJCI. KJCI is a Korean version of Sherpa Romeo. And if a user inputs OKID ID to their account, accession account, we can check archiving policies and embargoes of users' articles registered in ORCID, so, and provide some push notifications to encourage self-archiving. In case you can deposit unpublished preprint, you can choose if you will get open comment from other researchers or not. If you deposit your research output to Accession repository, it will be indexed in Accession Discovery. These are the images of Accession repository, open comment, and ORCID push notifications, and a list of deposit papers you self-archiving. If you want to publish a paper through journals, you have to submit to the journals. So as I know, international journals are usually have peer review system, using peer review systems developed by commercial providers like Scholar One by Scopus and editorial managers by Clarivate or OJS. So in Korea, it's not. In Korea, many Korean journals are using the peer review systems developed by public sectors like KISTI, or they just, sometimes they are paying to use the system, commercial systems by some commercial providers. So we have a peer review system, which is called Accession, ACOMS Plus, sorry. This is the integrated system of Accession. So it is a legacy system from an old version. We developed a new version because to better apply emerging trend in scholarly communications, such as open access or open data, and emerging technology like artificial intelligence and get better the demand from local academic societies. So ACOMS Plus provided not only traditional blind peer review process, but also open peer review. This is the first Korean system to provide support open peer review. There is not no Korean journals yet, but hopefully in the near future. So ACOMS Plus also supports open data and open access. Some journals are asking their authors to submit their research data for a thorough peer review process. So for those journals, we are planning to link research data from peer review process to KISTI's open access open data platform, DataOn, that I mentioned earlier. ACOMS Plus provides a seamless publishing process with Accession. So after editor decision and finishing editing, metadata and full text file will be directly linked to Accession journal publishing platform. So with one admin site for ICOMS Plus and publishing platform, journals can manage their volumes and its issues and any other things. So authors can do the self-archiving in Accession repository if they want. So if they do, the data will be directly deposited. So if an author write a paper with our collab pan, you can submit without leaving collab pan. We also support Korean open access journals. Suppose a journal wants to publish a fully open access, but they cannot afford to online publishing platform for their disseminating their articles. So that can be a barrier to open access publishing. So we provide our platform at low cost. So this platform can be used as a journal website, but also DOI landing pages. So a journal can have on their website domain like this. So currently we have 51 Korean open access journals. There are lots of benefits for using this platform. So we provide an admin site that there are various options to customize a journal's website. They can manage their journal using statistics. So journals can help when they want to be registered in Sherpa Romeo or DOAJ. And additional feature is that we support Google SEO and Accession indexing so that they increase the visibility of their articles. So site can also archive their back issues through this publishing platform. I guess you are well aware of predatory journals and conference issues. They have been issued in Korea too. So KISTI developed a website to protect Korean researchers from those issues. So the goal of SAFE is to support researchers they can do their research activities safely. So researchers can check the information of journals or conferences through this website. So if they want, they can discuss with their colleagues. So you can find out more on this SAFE system at tomorrow's session. So I briefly summarized what researchers and academic societies can do with Accession services. With the Accession platforms and integrated systems, researchers can get ideas and save references, collaborate with other co-authors, and check journal information before their submission, and directly submit to peer review system and other things. Academic societies can streamline their publishing process from authoring to disseminating using our platform. So Accession is a platform itself, but also a framework to support scholarly publishing systematically. Accession has been just 4 years since its launching, so we are going to keep advancing its features. So some of you might wonder why we developed this big and looking complicated platform. But in Korea, there are many small academic organizations and societies that face challenges in financial resources and lack of manpower. So therefore, having support from private sector like KISTI is very important for their sustainable scholarly publishing. So in the near future, our goal is to establish a collaborative model involving the private and public sectors to expand and open access publishing through our system. So that's the end of my presentation, and thank you for listening. If you want to know more about Accession or Icons Plus, please visit our website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yung Nam. It is a wonderful presentation. And now I may invite the Assistant Professor Dr. Kanyarat Kwesen, the conference manager, to present the speaker with the token appreciation. Please in front, and also invite Ms. Yukung Nam in front of the stage to receive the present from iSchool. Very informative, especially the open access researcher.
Yeah, thank you so much. KISTI, Institute of Korea Institute of Science and Technology and Information, for your great collaboration and very lovely sponsor for our conference this year. So next up, we have the special presentation from Fusionary. So we have Mr. Lee Richard, the CEO of Fusionary Thailand with us. So let me briefly introduce him to all of you. So his education, he graduated from Cheongnam National University in Korea. And speaking of his work experiences, he is the CEO of Fusionary Thailand from 2021 until the present. And he was the IT consultant administrative court of Thailand in IPA Korea, and he was also IT consultant and architect of IBM Korea Thailand. And since 1994, Fusionary has been a leading IT company in Korea, specializing in the development and operation of software of libraries and education. Their flagship solutions, Tulip and NeoTest with Question Bank, are widely used in 10 countries, including Thammasat University Library in Thailand. And they're also committed to contributing to a prosperous and knowledge information-driven society, shaping a brighter future. Please welcome Mr. Lee Richard.
Okay. Okay, that is okay. Yeah. Okay, Sawadee Krap, everyone. Okay, nice to meeting you. Yeah. And first, I'd like to express my gratitude for this opportunity to participate and present here at the 7th I-LISS conference. First of all, anyway, I'm very thankful for the Dr. O and Ajahn Koltida and as Ajahn Kanyarat. Thank you so much. Let me take a seat. Okay, today I'd like to say about our solutions, but as you know, okay. Okay, thank you. As our society actually increasingly relies on the knowledge and informations, and this trend is projected to continue as more and more. So in this point of view, the library have a very important role in facilitating the transition to the knowledge and information-driven society. So it is very important for us to know the type of system that can effectively support the library in fulfilling this central role. So I'd like to explore this topic as these sessions briefly. Okay. Okay, this is my contents. I'd like to provide an introduction of as my company, Fusionary, and about solutions as which as we offer. Sorry. And this is our Fusionary. So I'm not sure how many you know about Fusionary company. It's actually Fusionary is a compound word. Future is a future in English, and Nuri is which means is a world in Korean. So it signifies a future world. So actually, our company is dedicated to making efforts and a contribution, to make a better world like a knowledge-driven society in the future. So let's briefly look at our companies overall. So, we are actually for 30 years, they have successfully specializing in digital library and education field. Then at the moment, we they have over 160 employees. They are actually considered the top of the specialists in this field. And but also the last years we recorded how much is the 15 million. So we are going to more and more in the future. So based on this one, we are actually solidifying our position as a leading company, not only in Korea, but also outside of Korea. So this one is our business result. Actually, we have successfully implemented over 600 digital library solutions in a university and a public library and a government body and special libraries. And also we have involved the majority large-scale national projects related on digital library. So like a library of Korean as National Library and a Korean as Assembly as a library and a Supreme Court in Korea. So furthermore, in the international section, actually, as she mentioned about it, in here, Thammasat University at the moment using our solutions. But not only Thammasat, but also the other countries in 10 countries, they are using my solutions, Uzbekistan and Vietnam and Kyrgyzstan, Even there is North Korea as well. It's very special, is that right? So considering these aspects, Fusionary possesses a key technological expertise in digital libraries. There's an extensive experience in system development and proven solutions. But also we also have a large team of professionals and then actively invest in the research and development to prepare better in the future. So let's look at brief our solutions. So you know very well about the tulip. The flower, I'm very sure you know very well about tulip. But our tulip solution tulip name is stand for Triple U Library Information Portal. Triple U represent as a universal. It is designed for widespread use, regardless of countries and languages and library sizes. Further, as a unified, it offers integrated functionality without any silos and barriers. And how about ubiquitous? You know very well, it can be connected to and accessed from anywhere and at any time. So currently we provide the version 5 for the tulip. So the Tulip 5 is a web-based system. as that complies with the latest technology standards as in information and communication. This provides a convenient system as the system operation and maintenance, ensuring optimal performance and stability as on all operating systems and browsers. As a default, it includes not only a robust Unicode-based search engine for stable as a multi-language management and services, but also as the reporting tool. So Tulip supports multiple languages with all terms and messages in the UI is managed through multilingual table. So at the moment, it's more than 10 languages we can support. This is a business floor. So first, as you know very well about the library business process, the first is information collection stages. It is the process of acquiring the information, the resources through the various methods like purchasing or subscribing or in-house production and external collaborations. And second stage is the information management stages. Once you acquire the data information resources, then it must be managed. It must be managed according to the specific characteristics with as many appropriate ways. So like acquisition and cataloging and circulation, and especially is serials, like that. And then as you can create integrated database as well. And finally, it must be provide a service to the users. So the last stage is service stage. They can use the established databases. So it can be very helpful to the users. So this one is the overall structure of the future Neuri's digital library solutions. It's actually in the lower section, the library's business management area consists of functionality for computerizing library operations. Library operation and also is managing the internal and external resources. For the integrations to cutting edge technologies like AI and IoT. And IoT is management area is managing for the libraries space and facilities. And on top of it, there is integrated the library is management portal. Integrated library this portal is managing and monitoring all the functions. And then so there is a DB is a layer. Okay, it's manage and integrate all the kind of database to provide it, which was generated from the daily operation. And then finally, there is a service for the users. There is a library service portal. So let's go to the first. Integrated library is management portal. Actually, it provides the monitoring and control for the systems and services implemented in the library. Sorry. Yeah. As I mentioned about this ones. Yeah. This portal is actually providing monitoring and control of all the systems and services implemented in the library. And this one is screen showcases the comprehensive business functions of Tulip 5. It supports a rich and intricate set of business features and allows for selective customization. You can customize everything. So whatever you want, you can do it. So we can provide the kind of customization services. As all functionalities are integrated within a single architecture and enabling access with a single login. As one of the main features, actually, is you know very well about these features, Tulip has this CMS, Contents Management System function. It supports not only the traditional catalog management function, but also the contents management system function to facilitate the expansion of managed and serviced content. Actually, in the past, IL services were built separately from the institution's electronic library, but Tulip includes these IL functions as a default. So it providing as an easy integrations with the management and the services. So this one is a Tulip CMS content managed in a MODS format. As you can see, is integrated with the previously established MARC data in libraries through mapping, and then creating a unified index with identical attribute values. This enables a consolidated search of both MARC holdings and a specialized content in a single search query. By utilizing these features, actually it becomes possible to collect and accumulate various information resources produced by members within the university, as well as the information produced by relevant systems is in the university. So it enables the provision of university-specific information services, very specific for the informations. So as we are actively bringing in new technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, IoT, virtual reality, and as more into our digital library sector as we embrace the first industrial revolutions. So this is the AI curation, as is a solution that accumulates in various activities log of library users, such as search, loans, and postings, and then analyze them using AI technologies. As it provides the information recommendation service that can be helpful to the users. You know, this one is a metaverse platform that creates a virtual exhibition space for online, the virtual libraries, and provides integrated and expanded services linking exhibition collections with the library and external information resources. This as a metaverse platform enhances the library experience very good, yeah, without any visiting the library, as they can get an experience of the library. This is a Tulip, the big data-driven decision support system that gathers and analyzes as a comprehensive information on library operation and uses. It helps actually establish as the more effective library policies by providing insights of decision making. Okay, our platform integrates the various space and facilities, the management functions, including seat management and seat management, facility maintenance, and locker management, equipment rental services, and mobile membership card issuance. So it enables the seamless operation of these services as one unified system. So briefly, let's look at the users service sections. Actually, the Tulip offers a robust information as a retrieval services for both owned and external collections. It integrates and expands services for external information resources as well. And it offers the personalized services for individual users. As actually Tulip facilitates the user communication and provide various convenient services to enhance the overall user experience. So actually, we utilize the responsible web technology, which automatically detects and adapts to the various access devices, offering suitable user interface. So this one is in order to enable effective and robust information retrieval. Okay, our platform supports various search techniques like this includes the latest trend of one-click unified search, as well as the ability to combine search criteria. Additionally, our platform provides a diverse and suitable search methods based on the specific characteristics of a different type of information content actually. Okay, this is one search result display phase for our one-click unified search. As you can see, it presents comprehensive view of all types of information available in the library collection, as well as subscribed external information resources as well. So additionally, users can conveniently view search results from the major external sites like Google and YouTube as well. So such results display the library's holdings in a concise and relevant manner. The platform offers, left side, you can see the faucet services that users refine as their search results, and it also provides a cover image as a service using OpenAPI. In the detailed view of selected information, as a user can access more comprehensive contents like the location information and detailed descriptions, loan status, the view information, and even connecting with EndNote as well. Our platform supports personalized information, the recommendation and sharing utilized as the recommendation service feature. It enables users, both individual and collectively, to receive customization information, recommendations, or share relevant information with others. So now through this personalized service feature for users, our platform offers capabilities such as individualized information management, of viewing usage history, managing the personal collections of preferred content, and conducting personalized analysis of reading and borrowing as a preference. So this is my the last page, yeah. So this one is the platform offers web CMS, so web as contents management systems functions to facilitate effortless, very easy management and maintenance of the e-library service website. So it's normally many administrators very difficult to manage this one. If they cannot, then they need to often ask to the vendors to change it and update it. But we included these functions as a default. So the administrator of the libraries, they have the ability to directly configure and manage essential elements, including homepage images and banners, text, and as the menu structure. Okay, I finished as my presentation, but as I mentioned before, Visionary has been diligently striving to support a knowledge-driven society for the future. I sincerely hope that as many of you, along with your institutes, will join us in the endeavor to make a better world, knowledge-driven society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richard Lee, the CEO of Visionary Company, for your informative presentation. And at this moment, may I invite Assistant Professor Dr. Kanyarat Kwesen, the Conference Manager, to present the token of appreciation for Visionary Company. Thank you so much for your cooperation, and thank you for being a very lovely sponsor for our conference. And next up will be the last special presentation for today.
Yeah, from Gail. Let me introduce him. Mr. Masaki Morisawa is the Senior Product Manager of the Gail Asia. In this role, he supports a Gail sales force in area of the product information and training, marketing material, and technical support. Before joining Gail, Mr. Masaki worked for the antiquarian and academic bookseller in Japan. He studied in English literature in Sophia University, Tokyo. Please welcome Mr. Masaki Morisawa.
ขอบคุณครับ Sawadee krab. Thank you very much for having me here. It's a great honor to be talking in front of such an exalted audience. And as they always say, I'm the last thing between you and your lunch, so I'll try to be brief. But thank you very much for having us. We will be talking about something a little bit academic, but not too complicated. The title might sound a little bit scary, distant reading text in the humanities classroom. But as I say, a fearless approach. This is not going to be too technical or too difficult. But first, let me introduce to you how we got here and how do I move this. Oh, there you go. Okay. So, Gail, we are a US-based publisher based in Detroit, Michigan, and we publish mainly for academic libraries. We publish things like books, we aggregate journals, we publish ebooks, and many other things. We have various locations, not just in the US. I'm based in Japan. We have a sales rep there in Thailand. We have people in Korea, China, and India, and many other places. I believe most of the people here would have a Gail representative in your region. We don't have North Korea, so Richard, you beat us on that one. But otherwise, I think we have locations everywhere. But increasingly, we are focusing on Gail primary sources, which is where we digitize historical material and make them available through the internet. So we go to various institutions throughout the world. They might be archives, libraries, various holding institutions that hold rare material, historical material, and we go and scan that material. And most importantly, we apply optical character recognition, or OCR technology. And this is a technology that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, even if you don't know the name. Basically, this is the technology that allows you to search images, page images with text, because the computer reads this text and converts it into a searchable format. So I could do a search on Thailand and find that word Thailand right in the middle of a historical newspaper like you see here on the screen. Now, this is what we were originally doing. However, we found out that some scholars wanted to do something a little bit different with this data. So, for example, this is a newspaper article that we digitized. You can see the page image, you can see the text here, and we actually digitized the text, but it's kind of hidden. But if we show you the hidden text, it looks like this. This is the OCR text. It was generated from this image. And it's not 100% accurate. Sometimes the OCR machine can make a little bit mistakes, but basically this is something that is hidden behind the image text. We thought nobody was really interested in looking at this. This was just here to enable the searching of and discovery of these historical images. However, some scholars and researchers are interested in that OCR text. And they are not just looking at one OCR text, just one newspaper article. They want 2, 3, 4, and many hundreds or sometimes thousands of OCR articles. And they combine all of that textual data and they call it a bag of words. And instead of reading each of these articles, they might run it through a text analysis program and come up with something like this. This is actually an analysis that I did with about 1,500 newspaper articles, all written about Thailand from the 1990s. And if you kind of look at the text, these are like 2 to 6 word phrases that I found within my corpus. You would notice that there are a lot of words about money and about finance and about banks. This is because in the 1990s, we had the Asia financial crisis. And of course, Thailand was at the center of that. So you can see the IMF, International Monetary Fund. But the point is, you can see what's inside 1,500 newspaper articles without having to read every single article. And this is called distant reading. You're not reading each text individually. You're trying to look at a pattern using information technology. So we realized that this is a very different workflow from what we had developed traditionally. We developed our platform based on the assumption that people are going to do searches, yes, to discover images, but once they find the article, we thought that people will be reading this on the screen, and most people still do that. This is called close reading or traditional reading, or just simply reading, just the reading that you think about. But increasingly, digital humanists are trying to gather data and apply big data analysis tools to try to look at patterns or try to extract statistical data from these large data sets. And this is called distant reading, where you're gathering data and analyzing your content sets. So we developed 2 different platforms. This one, Gale Primary Sources, this is our traditional platform. This is for searching, retrieving, and looking at content on the screen. But Gale Digital Scholar Lab, this is a new platform that we developed, which allows you to collect all of that textual data and apply analysis tools and create the word cloud or other analyses instantly on the web. So this is about, oh, sorry, this should read distant reading. This is about distant reading here. So Gale Digital Scholar Lab, in one word, is our cloud-based distant reading environment. You can build content subsets using the OCR text that is provided from our digital archives. We have a cleaning tool that allows you to reduce or control noise. And most importantly, we have different analytical tools that are built in the platform that you don't need to have any programming skills or coding skills to run. If you can use a mouse and a keyboard, you're ready to use the Digital Scholar Lab. And all the data is in here too. And it also allows you to collaborate in groups. You can create group accounts and share that data or share your analyses together within the same institution. So lastly, I want to show you how this is changing education. So for example, in the University of Michigan, Dr. Sarah Ketchley, she teaches digital humanities. She has a course called Introduction to Digital Humanities, which has been going on since 2015. Actually, this is still continuing. And when she first started this course in 2015, she didn't use the Gale Digital Scholar Lab. So she was basically using her, oops, stopped. Can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So the first 3 times that the course was taught, she used various digital tools and various platforms. However, there were lots of problems. Students came with many different devices. Some students were using Windows, some students were using Macs, some had mobile devices, some had tablets. So there were platform differences. And then you had to install the software in each of those, and that took a lot of time. Teacher, I'm having a trouble here, there's an error message, and so on and so forth. And then, after you install the tools, you have to train them to learn how to use those tools And that also takes time. And sometimes the problem might be in the IT environment of the university, but the IT support staff says, oh, this is too advanced, this is too difficult, you solve it yourself. So she bumped into many, many difficulties initially. Then, in 2018, she started to use the Gale Digital Scholar Lab in her class. And this had a transformative effect in her teaching because now all of the corpus data is in here. All of the analytical tools are also built in here. All of the results can be produced here, and you can also collaborate in here. Everything is cloud-based in a single web-based environment. So it doesn't matter if you're using Windows, it doesn't matter if you're using Mac. If you have an internet connection and you can access this, it works for everyone. And as a result, the most important thing is the focus of our class shifted from troubleshooting all kinds of technical issues into developing research questions. What are the questions that I want to ask using this data? What are the analytical tools that I should best use? How can we divide the responsibility among the team? And how should we present this result? So as a result, the students were spending much more on the humanities part of digital humanities and less on the digital part, which is a given environment. So some students produced something like this. This is a presentation they created about evolving attitudes toward Chinese food in the US. They collected, I think, many 19th century to 20th century US newspaper articles, and they analyzed how Chinese food was being mentioned in those newspapers across time. And finally, after this course ended, the teacher asked the students, so what do you think you learned in this class, in this short course? And the students replied, I learned how to think critically. I learned how to reason analytically and communicate effectively. I learned how to manage data. I learned how to manage a project, or working in different formats, or interpreting that data, or even collaborating as a team. And they thought we gained a lot of value as human beings, and I'm more confident in entering the job market with the skills that I acquired here. So it really had a transformative effect on their learning, and much, much less time spent on technical troubleshooting. So just to summarize, I wanted to show this slide to you again. We have the Gale Digital Scholar Lab, which is our cloud-based text and data mining research environment, everything in one package. And all you need to know is how to use a mouse and a keyboard and an internet connection. And of course, you need to have business with Gale. So thank you very much for your attention. Kopun Kap, thank you.
Very much, Mr. Masaki Morisawa. It's a wonderful presentation and very interesting. And now may I invite Assistant Professor Dr. Kanyarat Kwesen, the conference manager, to present the speaker, please. So next time, maybe the Gale company can stamp iSchool in the crown word.
Well, thank you so much for all three special presentations. Can you guys make a very loud applause for three of them, please? So we come to the very end of our morning session. Ladies and gentlemen, may I make some announcements here? The first thing, we would like to ask for your permission to upload your photos and videos on the online platforms. Are we allowed to do so? Yes or no? Yes, right. Thank you so much for your kindness, and thank you so much for the permission. And the next announcement, we would like to make an announcement to our lovely presenters in the afternoon session. We would like you to kindly submit your presentation slides beforehand with our moderator in each conference room for your paper presentations in the afternoon session. And it's now time for lunch. Lunchtime. So we'll be right back at 1 p.m. for paper presentations. And in the afternoon session, we also have some appointments to announce as well.
And also have after lunch, we have paper presentation parallel session 1 and divided by 4 rooms. So room A, room B, room C, please check your schedule.
That's right. And also we have the people who wish to join the library tour that begins at 4 p.m. and also be ready before 4 p.m. at this conference room. We also have the I-LISS committee meeting begins at 5 p.m. and also the reception dinner and social networking begins at 6 p.m. So make sure you know all this schedule.
Yes, don't forget
That's right.
that the dinner hall is not here. You don't need to
Right.
come here again. So you have to come here tomorrow, right?
So where are we going for
we will
the
go to
reception dinner?
Bayasita Hotel in
That's
front
right.
of the campus.
That's right. And also one more announcement for the exhibitions. We have iSchoolKKU and the HRG showcasing on the 3rd floor. So you guys, please kindly visit all the booths downstairs. Any other announcements from our staff? Thank you so much for joining the opening ceremony and also for the special presentations from our 3 sponsors. So enjoy your lunch and see you at 1 p.m. at the
One more
meeting room.
information. Just,
One more?
right now, we want to inform you we have the van service in front of the building around 4 p.m. after the event. Then who register for the library tour, please, you can check in front of the registration check and then we will see you in the evening. Don't miss it because we have some activity more.
Thank you so much and enjoy your lunch. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you.
Our lunch providing on the 3rd floor of the GS building, ladies and gentlemen, 3rd floor for lunch and also exhibitions from the host and also our lovely sponsors on the 3rd floor as well. Please enjoy.